Hello, everybody. Hello, Dimwit. Hello, Lauren. Hello, Shadow. How are you all doing this fine evening? I am in a silly mood because I did watch a weird movie, yes. I honestly, I don't know where my mind is right now. I don't know how this stream is going to be. I feel like I have contracted psychosis. Am I ready to witness more grisly death? Yes. Every day. Oh, look at the Toka snuggle. Ugh. Lauren and I, like, 8 minutes ago, just finished watching American Psycho. Right? That's what it's called, American Psycho? With, Christian Bale and Jared Leto and Willem Dafoe and Reese Witherspoon. That movie was weird, man. You've heard it's good, but you've never seen it. It's really weird. It is definitely a late 90s, early 2000s movie. Like, if you've ever seen... Oh, what's that one cop movie with... I think Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, and... No. Not Mark Wahlberg. Who's the guy that played in The Martian? Matt Damon. It had Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio and another big name guy. I want to say it was like Matt something or Matthew something. No, not Shutter Island. That was a good movie, though. I enjoyed Shutter Island. It was in, I think it was like a 90s movie. He was young. They were in like Boston. Yes. Yeah, early 2000s. I think it's The Departed. Who else is in that? Is Robert De Niro in that? I think it's that one. Jack Nicholson, that's who I'm thinking of. Yeah, it was kind of like that movie. You've never seen The Departed? Don't read up anything about it. We should watch that. I should probably turn on the just chatting screen. You spent a couple hours after last week's stream listening to the soundtrack on repeat. It's really catchy, and I feel like the soundtrack belies what the game is. Like, it feels a lot more whimsical and upbeat. Oren's just gonna be a little hood gremlin. Oh, I don't know. I forgot that it was Friday, honestly, between you and me. Completely forgot. You're still a hood gremlin. But I know you all are here for Obra Dinn. I've played for 2 hours and 50 minutes. I last played it apparently... Oh, I thought it said 45 minutes ago. 45 hours and 2 minutes ago with 3 fates solved. It was only 2 days ago. Look, I don't know what time it is. I don't remember anything. All I know is I'm coming here to look at the foot. Only 57 to go? I've got a lot of deaths. I just don't have a lot of names.
What madness is this? 20 years my steward had never a doubt on your sanity. Explain yourself.
Those ungodly beasts carry a curse! Throw them back or doom us all!
Tie him up and put him in the lazarette with those things. He may yet find his senses.
Come on.
All's fine, John. Been in worse spots, I think. Where's the rest of his leg?
So they're cutting the guy's leg off? Alright, let's look at people. Who are you? I still have no idea who you are. This is... Second Rifleman. I have no idea who that is. Who be you? Have I seen you before? No, this is the first time I've seen you. Is this the doctor? Okay, this might be the doctor, seeing as he's got medical stuff. Is that the captain? Alright, captain. Man with a... Oh, this is the German guy, Alfred Klestil. Okay. Is this... Paul? I'm supposed to know who this is. Is anyone else from Ireland? Samuel Galligan is. 20 years my steward, he said. So... Oh, maybe he said something in Swedish, not Irish. That's what I get for not knowing languages. Paul. Samuel Peters. Patrick O'Hagan. Ah, I didn't mean to click that. I don't see a Paul. Oh, Paul Moss. First mate steward. So one of these guys should be Paul Moss. Unless I guessed wrong. And one of them, I think, is Philip Dahl, the captain steward. And that should be the first mate. Oh, this is part 4. Who is this and how did they die? Alright, let's look at the transcript again. Eradarar. All's fine, John. Been in worse spots, I think. Where's the rest of his leg? Who's John? Didn't someone say Paul? Keep pressure here. Hold him down. What madness is this? 20 years my steward and you, and never a doubt on your sanity. Explain yourself. Nobody said Paul in this scene? I could have sworn I read Paul. That's weird. Maybe I did catch psychosis. Who dis be? Alright, who's John? John Davies? Fourth mate. John Naples, seaman. Okay, so this is first mate, right? Yeah, that's first mate William Hoscott. He's dead. Got that correct. So Captain comes up, asks what's going on. Captain comes up and asks what's going on. Someone says those ungodly beast carrier curs, throw them back or doom us all. Tie him up and put him in the lazarette with those things. He may yet find his senses. Come on. Someone said you fools. All's fine, John. Been in worse spots, I think. Where's the rest of his leg? See, I thought it might have been Scottish or Gaelic as well. Or, I guess Welsh is possible? Or Swedish? Because it sounded like the captain was talking to his steward. So I would assume one of these guys is the steward here, and he's Swedish. Isn't there also a doctor? The surgeon, Henry Evans. But I don't know if the surgeon would be doing this. I was thinking maybe this guy is the surgeon. Definitely not Swedish. I couldn't tell you. I don't know Swedish. I mean, it could be the butcher. Oh yeah, who be these people? Oh, ES. Oh, I have 2 memories of ES. ES. Okay, so not Edward Nichols. Edward Spratt. If that's who that is, that's pretty easy to determine. That's ES. This guy, I think, is the butcher. And this guy, I still don't know who he is. So I'm assuming these guys are the mates, because that's first mate, second mate, third mate, maybe? Maybe he's fourth mate? Or this guy would be fourth mate. Just looking at their hats, that would be my deduction. So I think he might be the butcher. Oh, there's more. Wow, there's so many people. Wait, I thought this guy died. Is this back in time or ahead in time? Oh, they got some treasure. This guy was crunched. Okay, well good. I'm glad that I can place a lot of these people's deaths. This is an earlier chapter. Okay, so it's before the crab people. This is probably the reason the crab people came. Okay, so this is Martin Perro. Oh, and I guess I haven't seen him die yet. think I've seen him die. I guess I've seen him die. But I don't know if I know how he died. I feel like I did, and I just wasn't able to mark him before. Okay. I think that was everything that I could see, so let's jump to this body. Oh. What is... Okay, so this dude straight up got his head squished. Yeah, I appreciate you holding off on talking about your deductions. Maybe once I figure some of them out, you can. Okay, so Edward Spratt clearly did not draw himself in. Still think that's the Butcher Man. Oh, I missed this guy. Oh, and I should know who this is. Bookmark memories, please. I'm so fascinated by what's going on. Who is this and how did they die? You mean this guy? Trying to make me figure out who this guy is? He got crushed by cargo. Okay, this is the gunner guy. Oh wow, there was a lot of people here. Oh, it's this guy who got shot in the port place. Oh, it's the exploded guy. Oh, poor dude. And who are you? Okay, you're the guy who got speared later on. It's back here. Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to assume that this guy here... This is a deduction rating? A higher rating means that it will be more difficult to deduce this person's identity. Focus on the easily deduced identities first and leave the more difficult ones for later. This guy I think is Winston Smith, because look, he's being a carpenter, so it makes sense that he would be Winston Smith. This guy maybe was helping him, and so he's probably Marcus Gibbs. That would be my guess, is that's who these two are. Once you finished the game, you found a video showing all the vignettes in chronological order. It was quite the cluster. We may have to find that after I beat the game to see what it is. Okay, so that's who I'm assuming these two people are. Seeing as they're working on carpentry stuff, he's got a carpenter's hammer. That's going to be my guess. That's the artist. This guy I still think is the butcher. All right, did I miss anyone? It's fun. What, watching all the vignettes in chronological order? I bet it's interesting. Oh, yo. This guy dead too? How did this guy die? Don't forget you have the ship map in the book too. It's helpful for adding to deductions. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a closer look at everything in the book in a minute.
Clear the deck. Move the boats astern and throw the bodies over.
What's your foot in?
Hey there, what's this? Give him to me and I can fry us a solid meal, boys.
Careful now. Take it slow.
What's it, gentlemen? There's a free shell here. Let's have a look.
No, get back.
Okay, so this guy says he's pretty easy to know. Let's see. Surgeon, surgeon's mate, cook. He could be the cook because he was talking about cooking. Oh wait, no, maybe it was this guy was talking about cooking. Can I do two people at once as the same name? That's gonna be confusing if I can. Okay, no, I can't. Yeah, because he was saying, give him to me. So, this guy got... Oh, I can't say how he died just yet. Oh, look at this guy. You were crushed by a cannon. Just have a towel. I feel like they're probably... No, wait. They're kind of fancily dressed. They might be the guys from India. Yeah, because he says, clear the deck, move the boats astern, and throw the bodies over. Watch your footing. So this guy is the dead guy talking. Hey there, what's this? Give him to me and I can fry us a solid meal, boys. Careful now, take it slow. One tick, gentlemen. There's a pretty shell here. Let's have a look. No, get back. Okay, so that's what the X mean. Is this the guy that's dead that's talking? So this guy, I think, is the cook, and he got clubbed by a beast. Okay. The X part, you mean? Yeah. I gotcha. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm smelling what you're stepping in. I am scooping what you're pooping, my man. Still don't know who this exploded guy is, but we'll get there, I guess. Where are you running off to? What are you doing? You're having a good time. This guy was knife. Oh, this was the guy that was shot. The kids all deserved better. Is that what they are? They're kids? Because they definitely look like kids. Okay, so I have no idea who this guy is, but he got crushed by cargo. Is there anyone or anything else? Can I go up here? I can. I can sneak past. Wow! Look at all these fellas. You're probably just an ordinary seaman. Gears, I think. He might be the bosun? I don't know who you're supposed to be. That's the third mate. That's the first mate, and that's the captain. Why are you standing here talking to the captain with a gun? Would you be the second mate? I don't think so. No, you share a hat with this guy. He's also hard to figure out. Okay. Oh no, this guy I have as the bosun. Why do I have him as the bosun? Oh, that's just what his oh, because he's from Austria. That's why I think he's the bosun. So maybe this guy is bosun's mate? Detective Cody on duty indeed. And that was just a seaman. This guy was the electrocuted monkey man. This is them bringing on the treasure chest. These guys are probably just seamen. Sea people. Did I look at the bodies already? Oh, this is one of the royal party. Okay. Oh, now I'm down here again. There are a lot of bodies, man. What have I learned? Not much.
What the hell is going on? What do you know about these things? About the chest and your dead friends?
这是虾米？未来全部供出来，拢是恁害啦！迄个害得较对人无顾好，是人温死的啊！He talk about a shell, very dangerous.
Shell? What shell?
Yo. Okay. Each of the generic jobs on the manifest has an unknown thing when tagging someone, so you can tag someone as an unknown topman, midshipman, seaman, etc. Is this the new scene? This is a little bit further ahead, yeah. Okay, so this guy... This guy's one of the Formosan royalty guards. Oh, 2 people died. 1 second, I just remembered I forgot to take my medicine. There we go. Okay. Every day you buffering. Yeah, it's just Shadow. Shadow's internet has been poopy. Say the prayer with me. No more buffering, no more suffering. I like that. He met an unknown fate by being shot, spiked, and I assume this guy did too. Wow, there are a lot of dead bodies here. Wait, so who's the other guy dying in this scene? Is it this guy? No, this guy got electrocuted. This is the captain, right? Yeah, that's the captain. Oh, I see. So he got spiked at the same time. That's how. Okay. It looks different, actually. It doesn't look like the crab beast. It looks more like a weird fish. Oh! Space did the thing, and I didn't mean to do the thing. I was trying to jump, forgetting that I couldn't jump. Was that Professor X? No. No, it was not. Professor Xavier is not here. I don't know what that means. Does that mean I finished all of those? Alright, yeah, I know you're there and everything, but like, real quick, 1 second. This guy was tied up. Number of X's is the number of deaths in the chapter. Gotcha. Okay, so I don't know who you are. Oh, this was one of the mates, I think. He held some title. This was the royalty and his wife. And this, I'm thinking, is the doctor. Which makes sense because he's, or the surgeon, because he's bringing that pack around.
One shell.
The echo effect is very weird. Okay, so you're just, I think you're just a standard Seaman. Oh wait, I need to look up what the difference is between a seaman and a topman. So I'll do that soon. All right, so they're lifting anchor here. That's the first mate. That's the third mate. Well, that would explain why I wasn't seeing, like, the second mate at all. I want to look at the other guy. Who's the other gentleman? There we go. The royalty and his wife, the professor and Marianne, here on Gilligan's Island. God, I miss Gilligan's Island. That was a good show. Okay, so it's this guy over here that I gotta look at.
Ahoy! Hell back! Get the captain! Ahoy!
The copper's aboard!
Wait! Don't shoot! I have treasure! I yield!
Hold your fire!
Oh. Oh! I am off the ship? Oh, what is... Okay, so he says he's got treasure. He got shot by... He got shot by the guard. For some reason. And now there are sirens? Oh, that's the wife. Oh, and this is the king, I'm guessing. You never watched Gilligan's Island, you're seriously missing out. That would be a good show to redo, make it up to date. Marianne and her wife, the professor and Gilligan here on Gilligan's Island. You know, as awful as I think a remake of it would do, because I don't think they would capture the true essence of it, if they made it kind of like an X-Files-y show, I think it could be fun. Like a Monster of the Week sort of thing on the island. That could be interesting. The corpse was moved post-mortem. 3 others were present. Okay, so I still think this guy is probably the second mate, but he for sure got shot by a gun. Yeah, I guess kind of like shenanigans of the week. Or wait, no, first mate, second mate, third mate, fourth mate. Yeah, I don't know who the fourth would be. Guess I can't see him. Oh, is that the shell? Is that what I'm seeing out in the distance is the shell? No, you see, Lost was a show that had a great start and a terrible follow-through. They threw in weird mysteries, and it wasn't really Monster of the Week. It was, how bizarre can we make this concept? It was not... It was poorly executed in the long run. But, like, Gilligan's Island was a comedy, and that's truly what we need, is a good comedy. Alrighty, open up. Show me the past. Oh, maybe she's an empress and he's the husband. Yo, what? I don't know why I can't guess who this is. What did he grab? Is he on fire? Oh, but I can guess who she is now. Okay, so those are the four. So she was called Miss Lim. Then I just got to figure out who these three others were. It Bangs Xia, Chiu Tan, and Hak Seng Lao. Okay, alright. The shell still over here? Yeah, shell's still over here. Alright, so real quick, let's take a look-see at this guy. How could you have died? You're not alive. You could have been burned? It doesn't seem like you were burned, but I don't think there's a... It didn't sound like burned. Poisoned, maybe? Like, it's really hard to tell what exactly that is. It looks like fire. But it's really difficult to tell there. Being serious though, a Monster of the Week would fit the premise of the original show perfectly. The original show had a giant spider, thieving monkeys, lookalikes, relics that did wonky things, headhunters. Yeah, I think a Monster of the Week would do really well with Gilligan's Island. I think they even had at like one point like a man in an ape suit or something that was supposed to be like Bigfoot or Sasquatch or something. There was an episode where... Oh, if I like... Oh, if I don't look at it, it stops, so that way I can follow it. Oh, that's cool. They had an episode where I think it was like a Japanese sub captain or like a downed pilot from... Oh, what did it... I think World War II? was on the same island as them. Crazy stuff. I don't think Lost had thieving monkeys. Oh. Okay, so that guy got speared. That guy got stabbed. He did something, put something back. That I'm assuming captured their souls? Oh, and she has like a shell in her hair. Yeah, that's what it looks like a Pirates of the Caribbean, like Dead Man's Chest sort of thing. Like they put the whatever was taken out of the treasure chest back, and it stopped. It stopped the sirens from attacking.
You still breathing? Can you roll? Nichols, sir, shoot them for God's sake!
I don't know what her cause of death was just yet. How can I mark her cause of death when in that scene she was still dead? See, now I could mark her cause of death. Presumably, she was flawed, eaten. Oh. Well done. 3 more fates correct. Oh. Well, all right then. What is that, a pipe? I think that's a pipe. So this is someone else. This dude be dead. Yo, who's he fighting? Okay, so they mentioned a couple names there. I gotta pull them back up. Okay, O'Hagan, you still breathing? Can you row? Help, Nichols, sir. Shoot them for God's sake. So this was the guy talking. Okay, so this... No, no, no. This guy... This guy got knifed. He got stabbed in the neck by... I don't know what his name is yet. But by one of these people. So Nichols... Hagen... So I can't guess him. And I can't guess him. And I can't guess him. But I'm supposed to know who this guy is? Really? Okay, so Edward Nichols, that's got to be the second mate that's over there. Where's O'Hagan? Patrick O'Hagan. So I'm going to guess this guy is Patrick O'Hagan because this guy has got to be second mate Edward Nichols. And he was shot by this guy, I think. What are the options again? Axe burn, club crash, death, drowned. Expired. I like how expired is one of them. He might have just been expired. Suicide, gun, knife, noose, spear. But I still don't know his name. So that guy's O'Hagan. That guy's gotta be... Or that guy's O'Hagan, that guy's Nichols. I figured out what her name is, and I got her death right. That guy got speared. Can I... Okay.
Keep rowing! Where is it? There! Something there! I see it!
Okay, his name is Bang.
Here's a weapon! Shoot it! Mike and I! Pick up the oars and row, you fools!
Alright, I now know your name. Your name is... Itbang Shah. I am probably not pronouncing that right, but that is your name. Still don't quite know how you died. I think you just expired. Are her hands tied? Oh, his hands are tied too. Why are their hands tied? Bang the chat. Bang. The guy's name is Bang. I wish they would let me already mark how these people have died. Okay, so this one with the glowing shell speared this boy in the neck. Oh, I can if I hit tab while not zoomed? I just wanted to like pull them up so that way I can find them instead of having to wait, you know? Oh, one of them is speaking I guess you would call this Eastern European? I don't know. Like Russian? It's very similar to I don't remember the name of the Russian script. But he's not the one who died. So I don't know who you are, but you also got speared by a beast. This is a PC game, yes. Did I get you right? Speared by a beast? Yep. All right, cool. You got speared by a beast. I don't know who you are. I'm supposed to know who you are. Let's see. Ireland, Austria, Poland? It could be Polish? It's definitely not Swedish. I don't believe it's Persian. I don't think it's New Guinean. Oh, there's a couple of Russians. All right, so it's probably Russian. Cyrillic. Yes, thank you. Thank you. All right, so one of these people spoke Cyrillic. I don't know which one. That was Bing. That was Miss Lim. This guy said, "Give us a weapon." Okay. I think that's about all I could do. This dude got speared. Note to self.
Keep course due east. You'll reach the Canaries in 3 days. You packed enough stores?
Aye, sir. Checked and loaded them myself.
Good. Stay quiet and alert. If the wind picks up, we've no chance against the Obra Dinn.
休假，你玩抓不？
我冇问题，但是伊个想啊，绝对袂当互伊落去水底。
那是遐个怪物出现，你绝对卖起来。
Aye, shut it up.
This is strange things about monsters.
All right, so I think one of them here is Irish. Look, boobies. Oh, that guy just narrowly missed getting destroyed. This dude, he got speared. You always took it as the magic watch vibrating because it doesn't happen all the time, just when the watch senses another body. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Reasons why you love this game, number one? Boobies? This dude, totally speared by a beast. Who he is, not a clue. I think it is a mermaid or a siren of some kind, yes. Because you could see their tails and stuff later on. All right, so that is the end for these. So one of these guys is O'Hannigan. I think it's this guy. But I can't guess that yet. And I have no idea who this guy is. Just that he was knifed. Okay, but with the first mate, the second mate, and the third mate all accounted for, so captain, first mate, second mate, third mate, then I'm pretty sure this guy, fourth mate. All right. Krakens, crab people, mermaids. This game's got it all. Does anyone date the mate? No. The mates are just cannon fodder. Okay, so the slashes mean 2 people lived and the rest of them died. Oh, 2 people disappeared during the events of this chapter? Their fates are cataloged here. Disappeared in the calling. First memory. There's loose cargo on deck. Or the slashes mean they're unaccounted for. So I'm assuming that means that they went on the trip and did not return? I bet your wife loves that every single time you say it, huh? Okay, so I can't get in there. Oh, but this opened up. Oh wait, no, this was open to begin with, I think. Oh, there's something with the skull.
Take him to the cockpit. Get him wrapped and keep him left right.
Hit her here. One swing. Get through the skull in stone or brain. I'll cut her throat when you've done it.
Here?
Yeah. Come on before she kicks up. You all right there, sir?
Never been on a farm, Chuck.
Mind your shoes now.
Alright, so this guy, his name is Charlie. Oh boy, I sure hope it's not the bosun's mate. We'll see if there's another Charlie. Could be Charles Hirschstick. The only other Charlie, so I'm gonna guess that's who that is. What is a midshipman? Go look up all these descriptions. Glossary. Alright, so a mate, an officer or tradesman that supports and assists their superior. General mates help to run the ship and serve the captain's request. Tradesman mates serve their supervisor. Bosun, foreman in charge of general crew operations and the equipment required to sail the ship. Gunner, military officer in charge of weapons and military procedures on the ship. Yep. Carpenter, yep, know that. Helmsman, rated seaman in control of the ship's wheel and general moment-to-moment navigation. That checks out. The other Charles is French. That's true. Servant to an officer or higher-rated crew member performing general duties for the comfort of their employer. Officer in training assists various officers and tradesmen in order to learn ship operations, usually of privileged status. Okay, that makes sense. Topman. Higher-rated seamen specializing in work above the deck in the sails and rigging. Okay, so topmen are above the deck. Seamen are low-level crew members responsible for general manual labor on and below deck. The network rigging is the network of ropes and chains supporting the mast used for sailing. Main deck, okay. Okay, so the big thing to remember is midshipmen are officers in training, usually privileged. And then topmen are higher-rated seamen specializing in stuff above the deck. So the guy who got electrocuted, probably a topman. This guy, Charles, would be a midshipman because he is a little bit privileged and obviously knows nothing. Jon Snow. So all three of these guys are probably midshipmen. So this guy is either Thomas Lanky or Peter Milroy. And then that other guy is the other one. Yeah, this guy. So this guy is, again, either Peter whatever or whatever the other dude's name was. And this guy is probably the Butcher. Emile O'Farrell, which sounds right to me. Hey, welcome, Waddles. How was your phone call? What were you doing? How much do you cost if you don't have a phone? Oh, oh, that's clever, Justin. I love the dad joke. There's a con next week, and Jon Snow is going to be there. Oh, that's pretty cool. I've never seen Game of Thrones. Never seen Game of Thrones. So that sounds cool. If you're a fan, you should go. Nah, no worries. No worries, Justin. I love those. Oh, guidance? Identifying people, fate validation, using the book generally. Review conversations on each page and note any names that are mentioned. Refer to the ship map and pay attention to the labels of rooms where people or objects are found. Deduce origins, roles, and relationships from depictions in the artist's sketch. Use the manifest to see all crew and passenger information in one place. Okay. Origins can give clues to a person's appearance or accent. Roles can give clues about where people are found on the ship and their relationships with others. Each person's manifest number is unique and may be useful in identifying them. Okay. You were talking to your dad about what you need to do for the house when you move, and everything has been turned on its head again because of a good point. A good point, huh? You sell them for a living. Most expensive one you keep in warehouse is $1,139. The most expensive one you can order is $1,799. What, cell phones? You sell cell phones for a living? I'm the only person who has ever used that function. I mean, it's a nice function. It was kind of, you know, blatant, like, hey, question mark. Identifying people. Person's face is no longer blurred, which means that they can now be identified. Use the book and the pocket watch to gather enough information to deduce their identity. Revisit memories on the ship using the pocket watch to study relationships, appearances, and activities. Use the book Maps, Crew Manifest, and Artist Sketches, pages 2 through 4, along with the individual conversation logs to find clues about the names, relationships, appearance, and roles. Alright, I think I've already done this. There were 60 people on the ship when it left England. Determining everyone's identity and fate will not be easy. Decisive information is rare. You will have to make assumptions using partial information. Some identities may only be revealed through a process of elimination. Good luck. Service plans for phones. Yeah, Costco. We activate on Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. Oh, Costco. How often do you get a hot dog? The price of what you were going to do would be very similar, if not cheaper, to just buy a modular home rather than modify a shed. You're buying a house? I think I learned about deduction ratings already. This is a deduction rating. A higher rating means that it will be more difficult to deduce this person's identity. Focus on the easily deduced identities first and leave the more difficult ones for later. Fair enough. And fate validation. This may or may not be correct. Fates are okay. In sets of 3, correctly identify at least 3 people and their fates to have the information typeset into the book. Okay, so that's the butcher. So these are the 3 midshipmen. You don't get hot dogs as often as you think, especially when you're on keto, which currently you are not. Oh, how have you enjoyed the keto diet? Does that work for you at all? Gross AT&T? Technically, yes, if you consider a modular home a house. I mean, I'd say a modular home or a mobile home is definitely a house of some sort. Originally, you were going to buy a shed and then modify it into a little house? Why? Like, was it going to be on your parents' land? Were you buying your own land? Were you going to tow it behind a car? True story, you're holding a $1,300 phone in your hand. You got it for employee pricing and trade in with the manufacturer. Manufacturer paid $90 plus tax. Jeez. But a modular home would be similar, if not the same price, or close enough to, because rent's expensive. Rent is expensive. Keto works. You've lost pounds on it. I have considered trying keto, but I don't know if I'd be able to stay on it. I like potatoes and french fries too much. Gonna be on your grandparents' land. Ah. Okay. Get him wrapped and see to the last rites. Take him to the carpenters, get him wrapped and see to him last. Here, once, yep, here. Before she kicks up. That's when he's throwing up. Never been on a farm, Charlie. Mind your shoes now. Okay. 40 pounds? Dang. I'm down. I think this guy just expired. No, he didn't expire from old age. That doesn't make sense. Illness? I'm gonna go with unknown still. Especially as a single person trying to find rent that you can afford would hurt, especially considering you want to take classes. Oh, for sure. Rent is stupid right now, and it's not feasible for... This man's got a monkey! Look at this! This man's got a monkey! Oh my god. Sir, who are you to be owning a monkey? Where am I right now? Surgery. So, this guy is probably the doctor. Still want to know why this guy's got a monkey. Burned, his hand was on fire? Yeah, I thought his hand was on fire. Was burned an option? I forget. Nope, not called burned. Burned to death. Okay, yeah, I guess that was right. I was gonna say, it didn't really seem like he was burned, but... Hey, I got the 4th mate right. Sick. What if that guy died by monkey? I would love to see death by monkey. You don't remember how much your phone cost you? You paid tax and then it was like an extra $3 on your bill? My phone was like $400 or $500. I don't remember exactly. I'm a dandy. Hold on, I gotta find it. On my 3D printer. I'm a dandy. 9 out of 60. I'm almost there. As far as I could tell, he did not have an injury other than fire, but it seemed really silly that he would stick his hand in a chest and then it burned a little bit and that killed him by fire. I don't know. I wanted to be on the safe side. Also, hi Test. Thank you so much for the resub. Dear God, it's 27 adventures. 27 adventures. My dude. Howdy there, Justin. How are you doing tonight, Test? It's good to see you. It's going well. We've deduced 6 extra bodies today. You're a sleepy, sleepy boy. Well, it's a good thing it's Friday, because that means that you get to go to sleep and wake up tomorrow for Saturday, which is more work. I bet you're excited. Oh, you're not working tomorrow. Yo, that's awesome. Congrats. Why are you dying, Waddles?
Well, same as the other fellow. Some lung disease, not consumption. Made worse by the cold.
Will it spread?
If so, we'd all have it. They must have picked it up at the Alaska house. I checked all hands just now, and everyone is healthy.
And him? What are his chances?
I gave him some laudanum. We'll see.
Okay, so that's 3rd mate. Can I do doctor now? This man is the surgeon. This man I have no idea. But I'll tell you how he died later. This man, I do believe, would be the surgeon's mate. Seeing as they're both in here and wearing similar clothes. So we'll go with surgeon's mate. Pneumonia. It's probable that he has pneumonia of some kind, but pneumonia is also slightly contagious, so... But I guess he's not kissing anyone, so I guess he's kind of okay. You're opening... Oh, that's right, you're getting the pool ready. I forgot about that. You had a really bad headache? Oof, I'm sorry, man. Oh, a really bad headache-inducing customer at the end of the day, but at least she apologized to you for being rude? Do you mind if I ask what she did? Or, like, what she was doing? It's COVID. Yep, man's got COVID. This man died from illness. Who he is? I don't know yet, but it's illness. I'm also not a huge pool guy, and I have no idea if it's a brothel or not, Shadow. No mention of the Lascar house otherwise. You know, I have considered asking if Test wanted to be a mod, but I know he's not able to make it all the time, so I didn't want him to feel bad. But he does do all, like, shoutouts and stuff for me all the time, so, you know. He is a trustworthy being. You're too dickly to be a mod, but you've been in a mod, I don't know why I keep looking at that guy. You've been a mod in so many other people's channels before. You're good just being here? All right, see? He doesn't even want to be a mod, so therefore he will not be. Now I just want to mod Timbit, or Dimwit for that reason. Excusez-moi. I believe just about anyone can do the shoutouts. I need to change it to where only mods can, but it hasn't been much of an issue right now. Okay, they called this guy Syed. Persia? India. That was... What is the name for the Indian script? The best mods are the ones who don't really want it? Is that... I mean, you're not wrong. That's true, the best mods do delete spam before. I didn't even notice it. Yep, nice. You shouted me out. Memories, first memory. Oh, that's not what I wanted to know. Okay, so all of these gentlemen are the Indian gentlemen. so that guy succumbed to illness. Okay, so I'll be able to guess him in a second. Okay, and these are the 3 Russian guys. I think. Yo, there's a... Oh! 39, 40, 41, 59, and 38. That's a lot of bodies right there. Devanagari, you think is the Indian script? Oh, well, thank you. That is super duper helpful. I always love getting to learn new things like that. I think they said this was Syed. There's not more detail in this scene than you'd initially think. Oh yeah, for sure. All right, you're exhausted, so you think you're gonna head to bed. Just popped in to say hi and I love you all. I love you too, Tess. Thank you for stopping in. Maybe I'll see you, well, no, you're gonna be helping out with the pool, so I guess I won't see you tomorrow. 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I am going to be streaming a Minecraft server opening for something called Vault Hunters, which sounds like a blast, and I'm very excited to play it. But have a good night, Tess. Thank you for hanging out and stopping by. I love you, and we will see you next time. Yo. Okay, so 54. Why is this X? 53. 51. Okay, so you are 51. So you are Renfred Rajub. And I assume you, I don't know why you're marked as X. Not 10. Oh, I can walk through all this stuff. Doesn't make 54, 51, 53. Maybe. It's 59. It's 38. They're not sequential. Wait. Oh, 38, 58. 57.
Oh, they are.
55. 56. 54. So this guy would be 53, I think. Oh. I mean, if they want to bring, like, Trulies or ciders or something like that, that's fine by me. If they have any snacks that they want to bring, they're welcome to. I mean, we'll try and make those pretzels again, I guess. Buy pizza dough and make pizzas. All right, Tess. Well, if you pop in, awesome. If not, enjoy your day tomorrow. So not only do you hold a $1,300 phone in your hand, Samsung also gave you a Z Flip 3, which retails for $900. So you technically own 2 phones that together retail for above $2,000. Well, you're just rolling in it, aren't you, Justin? X is 10, but that doesn't make sense because he's not number 10. So I think this guy is the only remaining Indian guy. Okay, apparently I did not get that right. So You're not Saeed. Maybe you're William Wasim. Hey! Nailed it. There's another 3. Which means you, sir, are the last gentleman from India, Abraham Akbar. All right, so I got those 3. Perfect. So 50 or 47, 45, and I think that's 46. Which are the 3 Russian guys. Yep. Okay. So, I know these guys are the Russian guys, I just don't have their names right now. John Naples? First time it struck your eyes, you thought it said John Nipples. Hey, Ed, how are you? What an odd order all these bunks are in? That's the Imperials. No, metric system. I'm like 12 people in, I think, or 9 people in. Hey, Knightley, how are you doing? A lot of people be dead. Or maybe they're just sleeping. Who am I to tell? What? I'm a death... No, I'm an insurance investigator. The people dying from pneumonia or whatever it is. That's my most recent thing. It's going all right, Knightley. How are you doing? It was like a lady. It was a lady doing dancing. Lady dancing. Dancing lady. Still can't get down there. Okay, okay. So let us explore. I've already looked at this guy. Anything standing out? Nothing in here. Phone died, had to let it charge completely, forgot what you were typing. I forgot what you were typing too, so do not worry. I already did that one. Doing okay? Mowgli finished shedding, you think? You're gonna check on Sunday, because that should give him enough time to finish. Feeling a bit impatient about the bonding process today. You just want to give him all your love. But it'll be okay, Knightley. You'll have him for many, many years to come. Nothing special along here. Knightley, if you love him, you must let him go. Tell him to be free. Release him into the wide world. He's just a little lizard boy that wants to explore. What was it, Waddles? What was happening? What was going on? Okay, so I did that one already. Ain't got nothing over here. Ain't got nothing over here. Ain't got no chimkins, no piggles, no squiggles. What be over here? Oh, it's the poopers. Lauren, I found the poopers. I found the poopers. I found the poopers.
Find the poopers.
Nothing in the poopers. Yeah, it took me that long to find the poopers. Do I have all the chapters now? I don't know. Loose cargo. I got loose cargo. I got a bitter cold. I don't have murder. Outside the first mate's window. Alright, so I gotta find the first mate's window. Got part 5, got parts... got chapter 5. Chapter 6. That's how numbers work. They go in order. Chapter 7. On the bow. Okay. Oh, I'm missing part 2. How did I miss that? And then I don't have bargain yet. In the lazarette. Gotta figure out where the lazarette is, and then the escape. And then the end. The ship. Currently waiting on the right moment to approach Moggles again. Oh, so the gal apologized. There was confusion over the last few times she came in on what she wanted versus what we gave her, which one of your other coworkers screwed it up the last time. You had to go get someone that knows more than you about oil to explain everything and get it sorted. So she also wasn't happy about the price in general. I mean, price of everything's going up. No one's ever happy about having to pay for things, even though they have to. It was mostly pricing issue, which happened because of the fact that there was a cross in the lines. It was a mess, and she actually apologized before it was all even sorted out, and at that point, you went for a smarter person. You firmly believe she only apologized because she was from Michigan, and it's so close to Canada that sorry is in their blood. I'm sorry, have you met anyone from Detroit? Ark Survival Evolved Nightly? Alright, where is the lazarette? Also, first mate's window is across the way, so I gotta look out the first mate's window. What is the lazarette? Oh, I can't get into the lazarette yet. It's locked. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll just go look out the first mate's window, where a foot is.
On your toes.
Hey, Blakers! Thank you for the follow, my dude. Welcome to the kingdom.
Here.
Slack the lifts and lower the boats. The whole crew will be on us.
Give it up!
Yo. I have no idea who this is, but dude just got shot. Yeah, you guess you've never been following? Story of my life. I do that to people all the time. I'm like, oh wow, I guess I was never following you before, but here, have a follow. Hello. It's good to see you. How are you doing tonight? Alright, who... I haven't figured out who you are yet, but I will. Finally got to start playing Ark when you got a new laptop like a year ago. Man, you're still using a lappy top? Nightly, you gotta get you a desky top. Stop buying lizards, buy a desktop. Oh yeah, Finley Dalton. Makes sense that he'd be right there. Also, I feel like that's a really weird spot for the helm, but you know, who am I to judge? No idea what's going on? That's okay. I'm just solving a murder mystery and a death mystery. Mowgli will be your only lizard for a while. He's the perfect boy. No need for another. I mean, you can always get another. There is a lot to this scene. Who is this and how did they die? Don't know who they are, but they totally got shot by a gun. Okay. So you are one of the Russian guys. You are Bang. And you are one of the guys that died. Okay, solid. That checks out. That makes sense. Y'all got a piggy here. You are also one of the gun guys. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's wrong with the second mate? Edward Nichols shot this guy for some reason while holding her hostage? Because this guy was coming at him with a knife. I need to listen to the audio again for that one. And I'm pretty sure that's the helmsman. And that's one of the other midshipmen. Oh, and this guy did have the lady tattoo. I don't remember who had the lady tattoo. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. Oh, snap. I totally missed the guy hanging. It's kind of awesome because you recently got into Phoenix Wright and beat the first game last night, so you're getting Phoenix Wright vibes from this game. I've never played Phoenix Wright, and I've never wanted to be a lawyer, but that sounds like it could be fun. Murder mysteries are fun. I like murder mysteries. Did you say it's hot in here? I can leave. It's weird watching a stream for a game you've never played where others have played and beat. Now you know what it feels like when you comment on Zelda streams for the first time. Watch your streamer both. Yep, that's exactly what it's like. When you know about a game, it's hard.
Hok Seng Lao, you have been found guilty by self-confession of the murder of Nunzio Pasquale.
Quiet.
As captain of this ship, and by the authority of the East India Company, and thus the Crown of England, I sentence you to death by firing line. Mr. Wolf, when you are ready.
Right, sir. Ready, men. Aim. Fire.
Okay, so this guy... Nope. This guy is Christian Wolf. He is the gunner. What did they call him? think they called him Hoxing Lao. Oh, and here's the captain. So this is the artistry thing that they were doing. Where's the artist? Here's the artist. Okay, so there's the artist. Okay, so that is Bang. That is Miss Lin, and then this would be the remaining guy, Chow Tan. Nailing it. You have to keep talking yourself out of buying a Shantae game. That's the genie one, right? Hope you definitely know who got shot. Yeah, I just got to figure out who. I want to say it was like 36, but I could be wrong. So do you just have a magical compass that lets you see into the past? Yeah, pretty much. That's kind of the gist of it. This is a deep philosophical question. Who really killed this man? Himself for self-confession? You mean the guy's firing, the captain ordering it, or the guy for doing the murder? What does it mean to bite his rocks? You've been watching a playthrough on YouTube of the latest one, and the action platformer style is right up your alley? Rocks are tasty. How can you not do rocks? How can you... Knightley, how are you not eating rocks? This guy was... No, he wasn't strangled. He was definitely shot by gun. By... Who killed him? Technically, Henry Brennan killed him. Henry Brennan shot him. His bullet did the piercing. These guys are terrible shots. I know, right? Like, look how close they are. They could not hit him. You regularly have salt? I don't think that counts. Salt is crystals. Fascinating. You learn more about me every day. I mean, think about it. If you want me to go with utter specifics, this man right here shot him. He did the Houston. This man right here said, Hoxing Lao, you have been found guilty of, by self-confession, of the murder of Nunzio Pasqua. They didn't have to kill him. He was found guilty of the murder. As captain of this ship and by the authority of the East India Trading Company, and thus the Crown of England, I sentence you to death by firing line Mr. Wolf when you are ready. So that's Mr. Wolf. I mean, I guess technically he did sentence him to death. So we'll say he was killed by Captain. Also... Who... Is there a Nunzio Pasqua? Nunzio Pasqua, who I'm assuming is probably this guy. I haven't played Papers, Please. I've seen some people start that game, but it never really looked up my alley. You're in a detective phase right now because of Phoenix Wright, so this game is tempting you too. You should buy it, Knightley. You should buy it and play it before you get too spoiled. I mean, the other alternative would say that he committed suicide by self-confession, but she's saying that he's innocent, so I'm deducing that perhaps... It's the monkey! The monkey's back! Is this the butcher? That's the cook. Well, if he was torn apart, then he was probably torn apart by a terrible beast. I'm just gonna put that there. He was shot by a cannon. Oh, wait. This is the guy who was asking about his Frenchman, wasn't it? Maybe he's not... Maybe he's the gunner's mate? Or... Yeah, because where's the gunner? Maybe he was speaking Polish and not German. Because Christian Wolf... Where's Christian Wolf? Oh, it's not showing up because he's already been... whatchamacallited? Dang it. Hard agree that Knightley should stream it? Yeah, she totally should. I think she would love it. Give Lucas Pope money? Who's... Oh, Lucas Pope made this. That's right. One stream is not fine? Death by primate. Shot by a cannon aimed by a monkey. Oh, Christian Wolf was from Austria. Olus Weater was... Okay, so maybe this guy actually is... he's not the gunner's mate. Maybe he is actually the bosun. Maybe that's just the type of hats that they wear. Who's this? Oh. He be whispering something, methinks. We be learning a lot today. Cody, you put a pic of Mowgli biting rocks in the real life channel? I will take a look at it after the stream. Do you want to buy the Mortal Kombat film bundle in 4K for $15? The first film was gold, the second film was fun, the newest one was up to date and had a good Sub-Zero versus Scorpion fight. Yeah, you decided against it? Yeah, I don't know about chicken! I don't know about that. I probably wouldn't buy it in 4K. All right, let's carry on. Or do you want to buy it? Not do I want to buy it. Yeah, I don't know. Chicken? Death by chicken. Get pecked. Where's the goat? Who knows what happened to the goat? Goat got eaten.
Who is there? Who is that? Is someone hurt? Senor Nichols, is that you? What are you doing down here?
Hello. Yes. All fine here. Just sorting some things.
Watch your step. Here, let me help you.
Oh. So that is Edward Nichols. And this is the fiddler, otherwise known as Nunzio Pasqua of Italy. Where's that? Nope, this guy. We're gonna set that to, nope, not an unknown officer, unknown altogether, until we fully discover what happened. Who be this? Oh, so they knocked him out. So that way, Nichols could go for the shell. I see. What happened, Ed? Shockingly, Nunzio was not murdered by the Formosan? Yeah. You think there's a reason why all these films are discounted? Batman vs. Superman, Justice League Film Collection, Dragon Ball Evolution. Yeah, they weren't that great, were they? Nunzio was strangled by Edward Nichols. Right? That's who that is? Yeah, Edward Nichols. He was strangled by Edward Nichols. This guy, I'm assuming, was just knocked out, or claims he killed him. No, because he was still alive to be shot. The It 2 film collection? That doesn't sound worth it either. Okay, so let me go back here. Let me go to the second mate. Hold on. Oh, he was shot and killed by... he was shot and killed by... Chow Tan. Chow Tan shot and killed him because he... Timeline on this is really weird. He was trying to steal something, and he knew that he got the other guy killed. Do they have The Last Starfighter? Oh, why is that so familiar? You're gonna try today's third attempt at bonding with the boy now that he's exploring for the night. I guess I'll think about getting this game, you guess. You should get this game nightly. Also, have fun with Mowgli. Give him a hug for me. And so that was this one. So now we want to go back. Nope, not to one. Is it this one? Murder. Was killed by Nichols. Was shot with a gun. He wasn't technically shot. He was... Do they have one for... They don't have one. So I guess shot with a gun by Edward Nichols. Because they don't have, like, framed. Why would he admit to killing someone he didn't kill? Right, he was definitely shot, but I was trying to figure out how to place it as he was technically killed by Edward Nichols because Edward Nichols framed him. Which is why I was saying he was shot with a gun by Edward Nichols, the second mate, but he wasn't killed. Is there an executed option? There's expired, which is by old age, electrocuted, eaten, but there's no executed. Which is why I'm trying to think of, like, how it would be worded, because he was framed by him, but not directly killed by him. He was ordered to be killed by the captain, and the person who relayed that order was the gunner, and then the person who shot him was Brennan. So I'm gonna have to go with shot by the captain, because the captain did the final sentencing. And it would be on the captain's head if this were in any sort of court of law for not following through with a proper investigation. So I'm going to say it lays on the captain's head, even if it were, as far as I know, by technicality. This is where we get to psychoanalyze you and decide if we want to continue watching. Okay, so there's that. I need to head back down real quick. Well, I would love to hear what your decisions are on your psychoanalyzation of me. Okay, 37 is that guy. Was it in a murder? This is Timothy Bootman. He was shot with a gun. I don't remember who killed him. You were just gonna call me Big Dumb either way. I know how this works. The mystical powers of the Magic Death Book aren't asking you who's at fault. Fine. This guy was not killed by Captain whatever his butt is. He was killed by Henry Brennan with a gun. Hey, DS Labs, it's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. How have you enjoyed the game? Without any spoilers, how do you... I mean, obviously you liked it if you played it twice. And I'm very curious how my logic works alternative to yours, I suppose. All right, so that's how that dude died. I think it was the first mate's window that I need to go outside of to get that one. I'm seeing things you never noticed? Really? That's fascinating to know. Was it? Yeah, it was over here. This is the first mate's quarters. So is there something... Okay, I don't think I have this guy correct. But we'll get back to that. Have a good night, Ed.
Here. Slack the lifts and lower the boats. The whole crew will be on us. Give it up.
Okay, so this guy is Timothy Bootman, shot by... I think it's the second mate, yeah. So he was shot by Edward Nichols. Yeah, I just happened to be looking around and noticed all the numbers on the hammocks, and then noticed this guy's arm sticking out and that it had what looked like a dancing lady. So, why is he doing this? Is this them stealing? Oh, I see. So, these guys stole the treasure, kidnapped him and her, and shot this guy in the process. They're trying to escape. I see. Raya and the Last Dragon, huh? I've never seen that movie. I was gonna watch it with Lauren, and then she watched it without me. I think it's on Disney Plus, if you have that. Okay. So... he could be Irish. I think this is one of the Russian dudes. But I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go through all of these like one more time just to follow through with the information that I have. Oh yeah, dude with the pipe. Pretty sure that dude got like speared or something. If I like Asian mythology, it's really good. Yeah, I dig some Asian mythology. Also, you think you mentioned this before, but the hour and minute hands on the watch when looking at a corpse signify chapter and part, respectively. Good for navigating easier. Ah, chapter and part, not time of death. Gotcha. You mentioned it, but not in so much detail. So, they stabbled the helmsman. They, I assume, knocked out the kid who got exploded. And hit this guy on the back of the head. And that was while this guy was still hanging there. This guy tried to stop them. And now they're leaving. Okay. Where's my door out of here? It's over there. Yeah, I mean, if you've got Disney Plus, you definitely don't need it. You're in quarantine and looking for something to watch after stream. Right now, you're just perusing through movies on sale on Google Play. Ooh, what would be a good movie to watch? What are you in the mood for? Are you in the mood for feel good, murder mystery? All right, so what have we got left? Okay, so I still don't know this guy. Solomon Syed. Seaman succumbed to a tragic illness. Got him, got him. Still don't know who he is. Okay, so yeah, one did say Mother of God. He was speared by a terrible beast. I wish I could just, like, click on something here and take me back to the moment so I could look around. There is a flea market next to your home that happens once a month, and there is always people selling movies and shows for like $1 each. Legally? Kung Pao Enter the Fist is okay. Emperor's New Groove is always a blast. Super Mario Bros. Movie, that's old. I haven't seen that in ages. You sure Nunzio was strangled? You thought he was stabbed? He looked like he was strangled. You just finished Another Life and you're working on Manifest 3. In the mood for a movie, but Mario Bros. Movie? No thanks. Let's take a double look at Nunzio's body then. See if I can get that right.
Hello? Who is there? Who is that? Is someone hurt? Senor Nichols, is that you? What are you doing down here?
Hello. Yes. All fine here. Just sorting some things. What's your step? Here. Let me help you.
Oh yeah, maybe he was stabbed. It looked like he was grabbing him by the throat originally. There's no crouch option for me to really get a better look. And there's nothing coming through his body, so it's hard to... So he wasn't strangled, he was... knifed. What do you mean no one has seen The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? I've seen it. I quote it all the time. It's a great movie. I've been meaning to read the book. So this guy was a topman. First guess. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing pretty decently. There's a new Mario movie? Okay, so I figured that out. What more did I have? So there's The Calling. Don't know his name. I can guess this guy, because I think he's one of the Russians. I just don't know which Russian. So I'm going to leave him as unknown for now until I get 2 other confirmed. Can I... 5 memories, bookmark memory. Okay, I don't really know how the bookmark thing works. Don't know him. So he perished in Unholy Captives Part 4. Oh, this guy... This is the guy who got his leg cut off? Update from the last stream on what we've discovered, like 30 billion more deaths. There's some sea curse. The monkey's a murderer. Yeah, there's a monkey. There's some betrayal. The chicken is definitely in cahoots with him, and we're pretty sure the goat's an assassin. Don't know where the goat went, but the goat's an assassin. I heard the Monster Hunter movie was awful. Shadow, do you know if it does 1 person at a time? Hooves, tail, and wing. I feel like there's still so much I haven't seen yet. He wasn't shot. Maybe. Hold him down. What madness is this? They carry a curse, throw them back, or doom us all. Tie him up and put him in the lazarette with those things. He may yet find his senses. So I want to say he was maybe poison. We're gonna do that for now. Still something I'm missing. On the bow. So let's go to the bow of the ship, which is this way. Yeah, I have not heard good things about the Monster Hunter movie. Right? Isn't this... Is this not the bow? Am I... missing a thing here? The Monster Hunter movie doesn't exist, just like the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie doesn't exist. No, companies who buy IPs, they think, oh, we'll make money if we just make a movie about this thing. And there were, like, if I remember right, there were, like, assault rifles in it. Like, it was a modern Monster Hunter. It made no sense, apparently. You're in the minority of Zelda fans who actually want a live-action Zelda film. Everyone disagrees with you, but you think with the right writer and director, it would be amazing. I agree. I think it could be really good. If they did not try to redo a current Zelda game, like if they wrote their own contained story, I think it could be really good. But it would have to be a contained story. It could not be a rehash of one of the current stories. All the military people singing together was enjoyable, and them running into the monster. I'm gonna have to watch it now. Is it on any streaming service? So rare for a video game to show... Video game or a video game to show. It's so rare for a video game show or movie adaptation to go well. Do enjoy the irony of them having the actress from the Resident Evil movies as the star for their other bad movie adaptation, though. That's fair. It's that guy on the ground? This one? I didn't think so. I thought I had looked at this guy already. But we'll try. Yeah, I think I've already done this one. No, Justin, he's saying that because it doesn't exist. That movie doesn't exist. It was never created. It doesn't deserve to be remembered. It needs to be lost in the annals of history. Ah, here it is. Okay. No, I'm just saying that if it happens, they need someone who does a good job with movies. And that's going to be the hard part, is finding the right director. And to be fair, the reason why we got the awful Halo show is because, who owns Bungie now? Isn't it Activision or something like that? Someone bought the rights to Halo and decided to butcher the show, which I've heard has been awful. Detective Pikachu was actually pretty fun. If you haven't seen the Detective Pikachu movie, you should watch that. That was a pretty good movie. That was enjoyable. I still want to see Sonic for the memes. The Assassin's Creed movie was awful. Well, I guess we figured out what happened to the artist. Dude was pooping. Not even on the toilet, just pooping up here, and then he angered the Kraken. He got strangled by the Kraken. Have I figured out who you are, Paul Moss? I think that's who that is. Interesting. That sounded absolutely awful. Heard the Halo show never gets better either. Yeah. I heard that, like, the first episode, people were like, okay, we'll kind of give it a shot, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. The Assassin's Creed movie was so bad, just ignored its own lore it set up half the time. Yeah, honestly, I don't even remember what the point of the Assassin's Creed movie was. All I know is the choreography was subpar, the story was non-existent, and it didn't even follow close to what the video games had, which it could have. It could have done it easily, and it just did not work. I think the crap was already out of him, Justin. I don't think the Kraken did anything. The Warcraft movie was enjoyable. as a popcorn flick to experience something in universe that was sort of right. It was flashy and kind of enjoyable. But the big things about it, they wrote the story wrong, which they could have very easily have written it correctly, and there was very little combat. In a movie called Warcraft, I expect there to be war. Like, I expect there to be violence. Give me big wars. Give me, like, Lord of the Rings battles. Give me good violence. And there was none of it. There was barely any violence in that movie whatsoever. It was garbage. Yeah, there was a Warcraft movie. The Castlevania anime is incredible. Highly recommend that. The AC movie was very bad. It was very bad. Yeah, and that's kind of how I tried to approach it, Waddles, is I knew there would be people watching it who didn't know anything about Warcraft, and looking at it through that lens, it was an enjoyable movie. It had a good enough plot line that you could kind of follow it, and you're like, all right, this is interesting. It's fun to see these things, and it's neat to see Warcraft embodied in a live action. As someone who has played a lot of it and read a lot of the books and knows a lot of the lore, they took so many liberties that were unnecessary. And then, like I said, there was no action in it. It was basically just stuff's happening and we carry on, and there's some magic and we carry on. And there was nothing too in depth about it. It was very shallow. I think I've only ever seen the original Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie. They made an Animal Crossing movie? No way. Yeah, honestly, that's pretty much everything I've heard about it, Varian, is everything is just poorly put together. CGI isn't done well. Shot composition is really bad. Like, so much stuff is just really, really bad. I'm sorry, Justin. You pinged me in reference to something. What were you talking about? Edward Spratt was crushed by a terrible beast while pooping. I would not want him to live in the annals of history in that. Warcraft plots tend to be massive world-ending stuff, and that's such an easy generic plot. I mean, like, even if they didn't plan on making a second movie, every single Warcraft plot is bite-sized. There is a small plot that leads to a bigger plot that leads to a massive plot that leads to a global plot. Like, it's so granular and, like, scalable. They could have done something so much better with it. A Warcraft movie, or Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne adaptation would be great. Just the fall of Arthas as a movie. That would be pretty cool. Oh, the Lara Croft movie. Okay, yeah. I gotcha. What movie did you remember, Waddles? Did I psych it out? There it is. Oh, I didn't even know they made a Dragon Quest movie.
Let me on.
over my dead body, you bloody Dane.
Huh? How's that?
There's no cause for trouble, boys. Get in the boat.
Thought I'd forget. You killed my brother.
What? That was an accident.
The robes.
It wasn't his fault. I saw the whole thing.
Nice. I shouldn't have waited so long.
No, don't.
Okay, this man is a Dane. So he's not from Sweden. Not from New Guinea. He's from Denmark. So this would be Lars Lind. And this guy is unknown, but he has a brother. So we're looking for people with duplicate names. It was on Netflix, really. Like, you're an Omega Dragon Quest fan. Parts of the movies feel rushed, but overall it's not bad, but the ending ruined it and made you cry. I think you're just going to watch Captain America 2 after this. Won't have to spend any money on it, and TJ's an awesome movie. TJ? You mean it? Oh, it. Okay. Yay! $1,200 phone? Can't type. So Samuel Peters and Nathan Peters. Okay, Samuel Peters and Nathan Peters is probably... Ah. Okay. So this is this guy. I'm actually going to mark him as one of the Peters brothers. Because I think those are the only two that are... So we'll say he's Nathan, and we'll say he's Samuel. Maybe he's Nathan, and he's Samuel. We're just gonna do that for now. Hey, look, here's the goat. Okay, and that's one of the whatchamacallit boys. Oh, the sound design in this game is very good. The childhood portion was rushed, but like it wasn't bad. The young adult portion was spaced all right, and then the full adulthood. Wait, you take it back. Everything you were saying about that godforsaken movie, you just remembered the other reason you hate it? You're gonna go cry in the corner now. You'd managed to put the movie out of memory. I have not seen Obi-Wan yet. I like to binge watch it, so I'll probably wait till everything's out first. He was clubbed by Samuel Peters? Nathan Peters. Oh, wait, here, maybe I can learn everyone's name. Botterill, Lee, Lanky Milroy, Anderson, Galligan, Mustall, Jackson. No, I think it's just the Peters brothers. Okay. The game follows the main character throughout his whole life, starting as a little kid. It goes so far as you get married and have kids, twins, and even the movie cuts out the girl twin. Wow. A lot of people just straight up disappeared. Okay, what's the last thing? In the lazarette. All right, I think that's all of them.
Oi! In there somewhere! Storm's coming! Finish your business and climb down here!
Oh, we're just in the middle of the sea. For some reason, I thought we were on a dock or something. Still can't get in the lazarette. Okay. Now it's time to narrow things down. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, this is gonna be tough.
Put me down. Let go.
Easy now. Bad way.
Is this squid? Where is my Frenchman?
The squid's gone. Your mate was torn apart.
No, that. The beast is dead. How? How did you?
Oh no, I did get him right. Okay.
Didn't. It left with the storm. Captain came up with the hole. Said he changed it off.
So who's this? Okay, that's the fourth mate, John Davies. And that's... Oh. I don't know if I've figured out who this is. Alright, so let's look at this guy, bookmark his memories, and go to his first memory. So the first memory, he was here. Second memory, he was... he was here. I don't know why your Twitch just started hardcore buffering. That's weird. I'm sorry. Charles Hirschstick, burn. Did I figure out who this is? Yep, that was the butcher. He got spiked. This is the surgeon. Oh, he disappeared in Escape. So he's potentially still alive. I don't think I ever got either of these. This guy was decapitated by a beast. And this guy was... Ah, this was James Wallace, and he was also decapitated by a beast. Alright, so I got James Wallace correct. Charles Hertzstick correct. And Edward Spratt correct. Okay, well, that was not too difficult to figure out. How many is that now? 24? Oh, what were you gonna say? This is the other midshipman. I don't know who he is. I know who you are. You're the butcher. Still haven't figured out who this guy is. I want to say it's Hamad al-Diam just because of how he looks. Where is Sierra Leone? He could be Persian. It is Africa? Oh. No, I don't think he's African then. Okay, so he must not be the carpenter's mate. Oh, and everyone's got a steward. You're the fourth mate. Trying to narrow this all down is definitely tough. So this guy got speared. and then crawled his way all the way around the ship into there, and then got shot by... I think this guy? And I have no idea who this guy is. That guy's Christian Wolf. And I got him correct. This is Alfred Klestill, and I also have him correct. Okay, so you, I think, are Ollis Weater, the gunner's mate. Because that would make sense that you are behind Christian Wolf. And yeah, you could be from Poland. You did, I think... Yeah, you did get shot with a bullet by that guy, whoever that is. Also, where did you come from and where did you get a scimitar, man? You're cool. Was that a giant arachnid? No. Okay, so let's look at these guys again real quick. Whoever has the scimitar, this guy, I think he's the Persian guy. Because that just makes sense in my head. So you've got to be Omid Gul. You disappeared in the Doom. Gotta figure out who you were. Winston Smith, the carpenter, you were spiked. John Davies, okay, you're the fourth mate. You're the first mate. I don't think this is where you died. Okay, and who are you? You were Hertzstick who got burned later. Okay. Was that a falchion and not a scimitar? I don't know. Let's look up a falchion sword. Did I spell that right? I don't know if I spelled that right. It looked more like a scimitar. But it wasn't, you're right, it wasn't as curved. But it did look more like a scimitar than a falchion to me. It had that, like, that very distinct, like, dip at the tip of the blade. Like, you know how the blade, like, curves up to a point and then curves again to a second point, kinda? That's what it looked like to me. Okay. Let's get back over here. And let's look at this dude. Was killed by the 4th mate. You were shot by John Davies. Yep. Okay, so that was mutiny. Let's look at you real quick. Don't leave me. Bear up, son. I'll stay with you. Tell Pete's mother I tried my best to pull him back to save him.
No.
Okay, so you are not Pete. So you are Thomas Lanky, and you were attacked by Olus Weader.
Don't leave me.
Bear up, son. I'll stay with you.
Tell Pete's mother. I tried my best.
Aye.
To pull him back, to save him.
You tell her yourself. Brennan! Bring the surgeon's kit!
Have a good night, Varian. Thanks for hanging out, man. It was good seeing you. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Alright, so first mate, yep, killed by the captain. Midshipman Thomas Lanky, knifed by, I think, Waitier. So we'll try this in a second. Yeah, so John Davies killed that guy, was clubbed by this guy. That's where the first mate came down. Unless he's not the gunner's mate. But what would he be? They were both in there, so I feel like... So let's see. We have the bosun's mate correct. Or no, we have the bosun correct. He asked for his Frenchman, who I thought was Charles Minor, but maybe not. Unless I don't have this right. Was he not torn apart by a terrible beast? I feel like he was. Unless this guy was spiked. Or no, unless this guy was speared by a beast, and this guy was spiked. Pretty sure he was speared. He was spiked. I hate cell phone companies and the fact that they do that sort of stuff, Justin. It's awful. His name is Charles Minor. That part isn't a variable. The variable is who you have labeled as Charles. Yeah, well, that's... I'm not referring to the name, Shadow. I'm referring to the person. There we go. I knew I got those names mixed. So Lars Lind was clubbed by Nathan Peters. Ollis Wader was shot by John Davies. Thomas Lenke was knifed by Ollis Wader. Yeah, I honestly kind of forgot about the stewards. So... Alright, so... Then... Samuel Peters... disappeared. Oh, he's alive somewhere? Disappeared in the Doom. And the Doom happened off the coast of Africa? So I'm assuming he's alive in Africa. Oh. Okay, so O'Hannigan. Oh, who is Patrick O'Hannigan? I don't know which face he is, but I know where he died. Wait, who was the guy? Was clubbed by Nathan Peters. So Nathan Peters was not crushed? Hold on a second. alive in Africa. Samuel Peters was crushed by cargo. Because Nathan Peters was the one who clubbed Lars. Samuel Peters was the one that was crushed. So that should be that one now. Where's that loaf? Oh, of course she is. No, I said of course she is. I don't know what happened to the Russian guys. He also disappeared in the Doom. Shadow, I know I could just go revisit it, but it's 10 o'clock and I was just doing some theory crafting. Trying to figure out what maybe I've missed. Because I have a lot that I have not gone through yet. Like, I don't know who that guy is. Found out what happened to the captain. Found out what happened to the lady. Yeah, all I know is that the captain smacked him in the face. The facicles. Oh. Yeah, and this is Henry Brennan.
Must be in here someplace.
They're at the bottom of the sea.
That's a lie.
So you know where I probably need to go real quick? That bald beardy guy is a tough one. Yeah, I'm also having trouble with the tattooed guy. I'll get him, but currently having trouble with him. What are you looking for? Some pitches?
Hok Seng Lao, you have been found guilty by self-confession of the murder of Nunzio Pasquale.
Okay, so this guy is fourth mate steward, Davy James. What? And then I'm assuming this guy is second mate steward. Samuel Galligan.
And thus the crown of England.
And this guy is third mate steward, Roderick Anderson.
You to death by firing line. Mr. Wolf, when you are ready.
Right, sir.
Yeah, dude, that guy trying to sneak up on the captain was crazy to me. Like, I loved watching that unfold and then seeing, like, everything just go crazier from there. Ridiculous. Alright, she was clawed. Now, I want to look at this guy. He was spiked. He was killed by the Kraken. You're an unnamed guy. You're a pain to figure out. You were the carpenter. You were the butcher. You were the cook. This was Lars. It was him. I feel like I don't have that right. If... I don't know who he would be, though. I also don't know who the captain's steward is. So this is probably Peter. He was blasted by an explosion. Do I know you yet? Don't know you yet. Probably just gonna have to guess. Find your death and then go through your name and guess. Okay, so I know you guys. That guy died. That's Brennan. I don't know you. I don't know you. And I don't know you. I have a feeling I really am just gonna have to, like, go through and... Alright. Sounds like one more stream. We'll do this on Monday. And we'll walk through everything again and try to narrow everyone down best as we can. Because I've got to end, because it is 10 o'clock. But we at least have an idea of where we are and what we're doing. And we made some great progress. We made some fantastic progress. Oh, no worries, Justin. I figured it just wouldn't be as entertaining to read about all the woes of service providers because I also absolutely hate AT&T and Verizon, and none of them are really all that better. They're all pretty awful. But I was just gonna let you guys do your thing, do your chitty chat. Feel free to take it to the Discord if you want. Thanks for hanging out, John. I appreciate it. I didn't even know you were here. I don't know if you were just lurking or if I missed your hello, but yeah, Shadow. I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna walk back through all the chapters and try to narrow down all my guesses to who I think is what, based off of the information that I have and where I see people sitting and stuff like that. So, but I just don't have time for that tonight. So we are going to do that on Monday. Because tomorrow we are going to be doing Insane's Vault Hunter Minecraft experience, so that'll be fun. And then, yep, Sunday I'm taking the day off, and Monday we will play more. And Monday is a holiday for most of us in the US, so, you know, that do be how it is. Thanks for watching, everyone. Justin, I'm glad you're feeling better. I hope that you continue to be on the up and up. I appreciate all of you hanging out with me. If you would stick around just for a little bit longer, I want to raid my friend Rob. He is doing a subathon streamiversary, one of those two. And half of the proceeds that he makes during this whole situation, he's going to be donating to the families that were victim to the Robb Elementary School shooting. So if you would please at least go and give him some love, paste in either the sub or the follower adventure raid chat, and yeah, just tell him hi and wish him your best. That's all I can ask. Other than that, hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, stay hydrated, and as always, I'll see you on the next adventure. Also, thank you, Justin.